My name's Chair Oni, so thank you all for attending. And Ms. McCain Brown, can you please introduce yourself for the record?
Good evening, everyone. Monica McCain Brown, committee member.
Welcome and thanks for joining. And then who's on the line is KS?
Hi, good evening. My name is Kim Shelley, and I'm joining the call as well as a member. It's my first time in this meeting.
Oh, welcome. Are you a new board member?
Yes,
Okay. Welcome.
thank you.
Thanks for joining.
Yep.
We do not have quorum. Hopefully a few more people will join shortly, so we can't approve the minutes. So I'll just move on to the chairperson's report. And very briefly, we held our health fair in April, and I think it was pretty successful. We had a good number of city agencies attend, and we had a lot of people come through. It was right in front of the board office. Unfortunately, it did rain that morning, so I think that affected the attendance, both of people attending, and then also some of the agencies pulled out last minute. But it was a successful event. We got good feedback, and we're hoping to run a similar event again sometime soon. So that is the chairperson's report. Any questions, comments?
I just have one comment
Yes, please.
in terms of the meeting being rescheduled for today,
Mm-hmm.
and I understand why. But again, I don't know how many people saw it, but I think sometimes, if you can send something prior to saying, because yesterday, which was a scheduled day, was the meeting and it was a holiday, we would like to reschedule for such and such a date. I think that might be helpful because I think sometimes people may not even bother because they weren't afforded that chance. I happened to see it.
Gotcha. I thought that email was supposed to go out earlier in the month.
But maybe I missed it. If that did go out saying that because yesterday was the holiday, then I may have missed it. If I did, I do apologize for that.
Yeah, no, nothing to apologize for. I do think it was I probably could have sent a reminder, but I do believe because I spoke to the our representative at the office earlier in the month when we made the decision to change it because of the holiday. And I believe an email went out, but it might have been like, a week or so ago. So people could use the more immediate reminder. So I completely understand that. Appreciate the feedback. Um Okay, so I think I'll also send out, a message to people, just letting them know we met today, and we'll have one more meeting in June, before we break for the summertime. So honestly, there wasn't much to go over today, just because the sort of big push for the committee, as you know, is the health fair, and we were able to successfully execute that. So moving on to new business, which is the next item in the agenda, I wanted to bring up that there was some outreach to the committee for a hope to establish a crisis residence in East Flatbush, which would have 11 beds. And so we are going to reach back out to that agency to see if they want to come to the general board meeting to present that information to the community. But it would be on Clarendon Road around 34th Street for residential crisis support.
Isn't there something there already?
I I don't know. I don't know what's there. The address is 3402 Clarendon. Could look it up now. One second, trying to look it up.
Mm-hmm.
So the organization is called Town Home Health. They're dedicated to mental health and reducing trauma associated with mental health episodes. It does not suggest that they're like, at least this organization does not have something
Mhm.
there. So I don't know if maybe they're taking over something that already exists
Okay.
or yeah, but if you have knowledge about something that's there, I moved into Flatbush only about like I moved into Flatbush during the pandemic. I was in Canarsie earlier, so if you know the neighborhood a little bit better than me, and there's something else there, that would definitely be a flag, or something for us to flag for this proposal. That I know people are sensitive to having multiple facilities like this close to each other, so that's definitely something useful to know.
Yeah, I would check because I'm close to that area and I'm pretty sure that there might already be something within that area.
Okay, this email just came in at like 3 p.m. today, so
Okay.
this is all the information we have. I'll also pass this information on to the executive board, so that other committee chairs can weigh in as well. But so it does say it's 11-bed center, and the maximum would be 11 residents at one time, and the maximum stay is 28 days, so just shy of a month. So excuse me, they're assuming they'd have between 150 and 200 residents over the course of a year. And it's for individuals who are experiencing symptoms of a mental illness, psychiatric crisis, or experiencing challenges in daily life that create risk for an escalation of psychiatric symptoms that cannot be reasonably managed in the person's home or community environment without on-site supports and do not pose a likelihood of serious harm. So that's the information that I have. I'm gonna share with the executive committee and then also invite this organization to present to the community, but we'll do a little bit more research just to see what's there now.
Mm.
Great. And then the other piece of new business that I wanted to bring up is that Chair James, who runs rezoning, and I are actually hoping to establish another fair similar to the health fair, but larger with different committees throughout the board. And so we're hoping to host that early in the fall, either in September or October. So we're going to nail down a date soon and we'll send out some information. But the idea is for this one, we would actually get a street closure and, invite other committees so that we can present resources to different members of the community. So we definitely love support and input on that. One big question that's unanswered right now is just where we would host it. If you have an idea of any intersection that you think would be a good street to, for us to get the street permit to block off, please let me know. Again, I grew up in Brooklyn, but sometimes you just don't know the streets the best, right? Like I live off Church Avenue, but we can't block Church Avenue because it's a bus route. So if there are other streets that have a decent amount of traffic but don't have a bus coming down, so we all day permit, I would definitely appreciate some suggestions as to where we could host the fair. Okay. And just to backtrack, I see we have two more people. So Carla, would you mind introducing yourself for the record, please?
Mm.
Hello? Sorry, we didn't get that.
Hello,
Yes.
can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, how are you? I'm Carla Herman. I've lived in the community, I want to say mostly all my life, for the last 40 years. And I used to be on the board. I didn't have time, so I had come off. And I'm just back to see what's going on right now.
Okay, welcome. Thank you for joining. And Ms. McMillan?
Hi, good afternoon. Gail Macmillan. I live in this area, Flatbush area, for over 45 years. And I have attended one or two community board meetings, but never involved. And I was very much, interested in being part of the board and, the community and what's going on.
Amazing. Thank you. Thank you for joining.
I also need to mention that I had worked for Department of Social Service for 38 years. So I think by having that kind of background, it's going to be helpful. But I'm not retired.
Great. Yeah, that would definitely be helpful. Especially as we're reaching out to city agencies and trying to just bring more of the services that exist to
Mhm.
closer to people so that people know what exists in the community. So thank you for joining.
Mhm.
Really appreciate you having you here. So like I said, the two pieces of new business are the Crisis Health Center shelter that is being proposed for Clarendon and 34th Street, and then the board fair that we're hoping to host in the fall. We could definitely use as much participation and support as possible in both of those. For the members who haven't joined before, just so you know, typically we take a break for the summer months. So June would be our last meeting until September. So we don't meet in July and August. So during the June meeting, I'm hoping to have make a few more concrete plans, including solidifying the date and the location for the fall, so that over the summertime, the office staff can do some work on, securing the permit and reaching out to agencies and such. But we won't meet formally in July and August. I'll probably be sending some emails back and forth, and like I said, welcome as much help as possible. But just wanted to give that heads up. Is there any old business that anyone would like to bring up while we're here? Okay, hearing none. Does anyone have thoughts on resources that we should focus on for the board fair? Any agencies that, maybe you have experience with, or you think just would have good information that we should note as we're beginning planning? Or even if not agencies, it could be small businesses that might want to get in front of the community, or, other resources that would be worth sharing.
What type of or when you say resource fair, what is the goal, and in doing the fairs, to just bring awareness to the community of what's available is in terms of social services, health, and all those, that factor?
Yeah, so a few different committees want to participate. So we are hosting it. So it'll be hosted by social services. So we would, the FDNY would likely come. Where I'm hoping to actually host a blood drive with the New York Blood Center. So have them bring a truck out and actually, take blood donations. We would
Mhm.
have people doing, like blood pressure screenings, and the kind of like health screenings you can do on site. But then since other committees would be there, first of all, a big part of it is just to let people know like the work of Community Board 17 and what we do. So each committee that wants to participate would have their own table where they're like, showing, telling people to come to the meetings and telling people what they do, and, encouraging people to participate. And then also, if the education committee, excuse me, is working with a nonprofit that wants to tell people about their after school, they can do that at this time and that sort of thing as well.
I'm sorry, this is Carla Herman.
No problem.
Wouldn't the park across the street from the Community Board 17 be the best place? Because what I'm hearing, living on 39th Street, is that a lot of people don't even realize the Community Board is over there anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So wouldn't it be
Yeah,
of
I think that's.
interest to
Go ahead.
wouldn't it be of interest to put it close to the Community Board? So the park would be the best place, or PS 198 yard, one of those,
Where's PS 198?
right across
I
the
think
street from the Community Board.
same school.
Right.
Okay.
That's the big
So
school right there.
got you. So definitely not opposed to it. I will say one, the community board, has been trying to move offices for some time. And we lost the last lease, so still looking out. So the physical location of the community board is less, isn't like the most important thing in the world. Cause, let's say we host this fair and everyone comes there and now everyone associates the community board with that intersection, then we move. So we don't really want people to think like, the community board is here. We want them to think Community Board 17 is Community Board 17, right? And is throughout the East Flatbush and the other neighborhoods that we that we cover. The other issue that I found from actually hosting the health fair in front of Community Board 17 is people aren't really likely to sort of like just leave their house for a community event unless they have a very very specific interest in it. It's more of a pass-through thing, like it's, oh, I happen to be grocery shopping and I see this, let me stop by, which is a benefit for that location because the pathmark is there. But we were just thinking, if there are other intersections that people are passing by regularly, and we'd almost be having this like a block party, right? Like we block off a block, we have music, we have all these resources. So if there's another space, like I said, another intersection that is just likely to have enough traffic that people who normally wouldn't interact with the community board and with our programs would just be happening to walk by on a Saturday in September, and would feel that it made sense to stop and engage with us. So that's the only, I think the positive to your point is it would show people like the community board offices here. The negative is like we're just we're not necessarily going to get maximum traffic at that location.
Okay.
Was someone going to say something?
Hello? Yeah, I was thinking of the park right across the street. I think it's Pataget Park that they usually have the exercise activity. A lot of people usually go there past there for the summer for anything that's going on, like activities for the kids. I mean, I know it's close to the community board, but it's an area where people can generally come instead of closing off an entire block. The park is already there and probably can get permits and stuff like that to do it within the park for a particular day.
Okay, yeah, I think that's a solid option. We definitely can.
Mhm.
Yeah, the park permit is similar to the city block permit, so we could definitely apply for that. Any other initial thoughts?
I have an idea also. They can reach out to like a lot of the churches in the community because they have a lot of groups that's really functioning, that does a lot of fundraising. So
Mm-hmm.
like if you can send out if when and if they decide on having a fair, like
Mm-hmm.
you reach out to the churches in the community to share with their parishioners that a fair is going to be taking place, because the last fair that was held, the health fair, I'm not saying that it was not advertised, but I don't know what basis they use besides sending email. But if they can get flyers out to the churches in the area, since people usually first go to the church in right in this area and the surrounding areas, it might be a good way of letting them know what's upcoming,
Yeah.
to come out.
Okay.
And the senior citizen centers as well.
Okay, that's a great idea. Thank you. Yeah, for the last one, what we did was we dropped flyers off at like some local businesses.
Mhm.
But I think churches and the senior citizen centers are great ideas. So we will definitely add that one. Thank you. Any other thoughts? Okay. This was really helpful. I'm going to chat with Chair James, who's sort of co-sponsoring this event, just to get a little bit further on nailing down the final date and location. And then, we'll start sending emails out about what we want to do and what help we could use. Once we develop a flyer, we would love, if you are a member of a church, if you'd be willing to drop flyers at your, church, or if you're familiar with other churches, that would be helpful as well. And then also see if the board office staff would be able to help do some distribution as well. And just to confirm, no one has any old business to discuss today. Okay, so we can adjourn. As I said, we'll be meeting one more time for this this year in June, and then we'll break for the summertime. So again, in the June meeting, hoping to bring you all some more details about the fair. And with that, does anyone move to adjourn the meeting?
Later.
Thank you. And do we have a second?
Monica McCain Brown, second the motion to adjourn at 7:55 p.m.
Thank you very much. With that, I call this meeting adjourned, and I hope you all have a wonderful evening. And thank you so much for joining the meeting.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you.
Good
Good night.